Hello, Prosperity Posse ladies. We are having an expert interview series today by Miranda May, who is a former Prosperity Posse graduate. She actually graduated just a year ago. We were just chatting about. And she rocked it inside of Prosperity Posse, put her high-end packages together, and she is extremely skilled at Instagram and all things branding and marketing. And today we're going to do, is it marketing magic or branding magic on Instagram?
Instagram branding magic.
Yeah. Instagram branding magic. So, me personally, and her company name is Planet Palm Creative. And if there's anything else you want to introduce yourself as that we should know, I'll have you do that in a second. But just to cue up this conversation today, it's really important. Instagram is a huge opportunity for all of us, and I know this to be true, and it's just an awesome place to get clients and connect with people and step into your voice and your leadership. And, when I kind of broke into the expert leadership space, I made the conscious decision to focus on one platform so I didn't get overwhelmed. And that platform for me was Facebook. And so I put all of my business focus and effort into Facebook and writing there and publishing there and linking back there. And so this year, that's all changing for me. I'm going to put a lot more effort into building out my Instagram and really learning the ropes. And so today we're featuring an expert, Miranda, on how we can turn on our magic on Instagram.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me. Julie, as you mentioned, I'm the founder of Planet Palm Creative. We specialize in social media strategies, specifically on visual networks like Instagram and Pinterest. And with those, branding has become so important, and to really staying consistent and to tell a really strong visual story on these networks. I'm excited to share some stuff with you today. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen in just a second.
Mm-hmm. I love how you said that. Tell a strong visual story. That is just a beautiful context for us to be in this.
Oh yeah, it's getting more and more important now. Now that these visual networks are gaining popularity. And before I dive in, though, I wanted to actually touch base on what you had mentioned on how you had focused on one platform. And I just have to say, I love that you did that. Not a lot of people do that. And a lot of people face massive overwhelm when it comes to social media. They feel like, oh my gosh, I need to be everywhere at once. I need to have a LinkedIn and a Facebook, and I need to be on Instagram, and I need to be pinning on Pinterest and other Snapchat. And focusing on one network at a time is the way to go. It's the best thing to do. Unless you have, a bunch of money where you can outsource to an agency to have them do all of that for you, by all means, more power to you. Mm-hmm. But for anyone who's a solo entrepreneur, or maybe they're just getting their business started, focus on one platform where you think you're going to see the biggest ROI and just really, really hone in on that specific platform. Otherwise, spreading yourself too thin, you're not going to see the results you want to see in terms of growth or engagement, or even, generating direct sales online from that platform. So love that you focused on that. It's such a great strategy to do. Mm-hmm. So applaud you for doing that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So today I kind of want to just cover, we're going to cover just three kind of general topics. Why should people follow you on Instagram? And then how are you bringing value to your audience? And then kind of who else can help you shine your light? And I'll get into more details on that in a second. So very quickly, people I guess decide within 3 seconds, whether or not they want to follow you. I know that seems crazy and really, really short. But look at your behavior and how you are on Instagram. When you immediately land on someone's profile, you usually know right away whether or not you want to follow them. And I really love this quote. I learned this from a branding expert. That's, 3 seconds before your conscious makes a decision about someone, your subconscious has already made a judgment on them. Mm-hmm. So really, it's so important to get really, really clear on what it is that you are offering your community. And why you're offering it to your community. And the first way to really accomplish this is through optimizing your Instagram bio. And a lot of people don't talk about this. And And it really kind of irks me a little bit because the bio is so important. Like, granted, yes, the content is very important, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But the first thing people see is your profile picture and your bio. It's a quick bio. It's 150 characters. I always say, think of it as like your 150 character elevator pitch. And really, really use this as an opportunity to get crystal clear on what it is that you're offering and how you're bringing value, and kind of showing more of that human side of you. So just some quick points. You want to make sure that it's really unique and descriptive. You want to make sure your bio represents your brand in a really specific, unique way, by using descriptive yet concise, because remember, it's only 150 characters, language to get your point across. So I always recommend like writing this out if you have an iPhone, there's the Notes app where you can write out in your Notes app. You can actually write it out in bullet point form and then copy that over to your bio. So it's much easier to read. I personally love bullet points. It's just easier to digest, easier to get the point across. I think all marketers love bullet points because it's just super easy to read. And the easier it is for someone to understand what it is that you do, the better. And then you also obviously want to show like how you're serving and how you're impacting others. What value are you bringing to your community? And then, as I mentioned before, if you are your brand, which for people in Prosperity Posse, that's probably mostly the case. Probably a lot of coaches and consultants use it as an opportunity to show, some of the fun human side of your business, things that you really personally love that you want to introduce into your personal brand. And I'll show some really great examples in just a second. But to, narrow down more on like how to write a good bio. So I love this quote. And I don't know who said it. I really wish I did. But the narrower your niche, the wider your opportunity. And this is really, really important for writing your Instagram bio. And a lot of this too is, a lot of this really goes beyond just your Instagram bio. This really goes more into your business, your brand. And this might take some additional work. But just really, really get specific on who it is that you're trying to cater your content to. So like some good examples, that I've written is, instead of saying that you're a business consultant, if you're a business consultant, but you strategize and work with e-commerce brands, say that. Say you're a business strategist for e-commerce brands. I'll give you an example. On my Instagram bio, I actually mentioned, I had it on my bio a few months ago that I was like a social media marketing consultant, because I thought, I want to appeal to a lot of people. I don't want to lose out on opportunity, which I think a lot of people think. They think, I want to make it as general as possible so I don't leave anyone out, so I don't miss out on potential new business. But really, that's doing yourself a disservice, because the more narrow your niche is, the more specific you get with who you're trying to serve, the more that those ideal customers, when they see your profile, it's not just, okay, that's kind of cool. It's, oh my gosh, I've been looking for someone like this. I've been looking for someone to work with who offers the specific service. They are literally talking to me, and it becomes not just a yes, but a hell yes for them. And then another example is, instead of life coach, you do something like lifestyle design coach or money mindset coach. With the coaching industry, I'm seeing a lot of people really get really specific in their niche, which I love, but really find a way to make yourself stand out even more. Like, you could take this even one step further. Say if you're a lifestyle design coach, but you're noticing all of your clients maybe are new moms and they're looking to figure out a way to create more spaciousness in their life. Say, a lifestyle design coach for moms looking to add more spaciousness to their life, or get really, really specific here. And then I throw a lot of quotes in here. I love quotes. So Marie Forleo, she mentions, the more emotion that you have connected to what you want, the more power and commitment you'll have to create the results. So, think about the results and how you want to impact others. what are your whys that back up your what? So in the slide before, I kind of discussed that what, like what's your descriptive what? What is it that you do? Who is it that you're serving? But then on the next line of your bio, I would really use that opportunity as a chance to showcase your why. And then, of course, this very famous quote by Simon Sinek, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Mm-hmm. I think it's the most popular TED Talk of all time.
Yes.
If anyone hasn't watched it, please do. I think it's called, oh gosh, I forget what it's called. How Great Leaders Inspire Action by Simon Sinek. Such a great watch. Highly recommend. So yeah, really, really find such a powerful and emotional way to describe your why. What is your sacred why? Like, why are you making an impact? Why are you even on Instagram? Why should people follow you? So I've given some good examples here. So, a powerful why could be coaching women to live happier, more purposeful lives, or helping entrepreneurs create profitable, purpose-driven businesses. And again, those are just some examples, but you can get really fun and really creative here. And then for the leftover space of your bio, after you've kind of done your descriptive what, your really emotional and powerful why, you can use that leftover space for either a call to action. Maybe you have a free download. Maybe you want people to sign up for something, or use it as a fun way to describe more of your personal brand. One person who I love, who does such a great job, is Jenna Kutcher. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Mm-hmm.
I love her so much. I have like such a girl crush on her. But a big part of her personal brand, I think she just kills personal branding. She mentions like, I'll show you an example, but for a while in her bio, it said, that she was really into mac and cheese and yoga pants, which is kind of random and doesn't really have to do with online marketing, but it's fun. It humanizes her brand. People could go, oh my gosh, I love mac and cheese and yoga pants too. Like, it's so relatable, and it kind of makes them feel like they have more of a personal relationship, with that individual.
I'm looking at her profile right now, and she just she's so real and bears it all. And it's like her in a swimsuit, just rocking it,
Exactly. And oh gosh, yeah, she does such a good job too at really being clear on what she stands for too. She's all about body positivity, and she is unapologetically herself, and posts these pictures of her, wearing these beautiful bathing suits and lingerie, and she's open about it. She's even mentioned, I think she was like, oh, I posted a picture of me in this lingerie and I lost a ton of followers, but it was so worth it. And I loved that. That made me love her even more. And I kept going back to her profile and wanting to know what the next post she was going to publish. And that actually brings up another good point of getting really clear on what you stand for is back in the last election, which was, I don't like to talk about politics at all, but I'll bring it up really quick. So in the last election, Jimmy Fallon, actually, he did not want to publicly talk about what political party he was on, what side he was on, where every single other talk show host was being very vocal about it. Like Jimmy Kimmel was, very vocal, and some other talk show hosts, but Jimmy Fallon didn't want to. He's like, no, I don't want to risk losing viewership or risk, not being liked. And him not standing for something, he actually lost, and forgive me because I forget the exact stat, but his viewership ended up going way, way down, which is a really great case study of just knowing what it is that you stand for and just going for it and owning it and not being afraid to, I don't want to say turn people off, but, to turn some people away. And because that's okay, because you want to be unique. You want to be crystal clear on what it is you offer, and you want to stand for something and be so all in on that one thing. So then when people are who in those same boats as you, they see your profile and go, oh my gosh, hell yes. Hell yes, this girl is literally me. I cannot wait to see the stuff she posts. I've been looking for someone like this to get inspiration from. So just own it. And then before we look at some examples of some other bios, if anyone is not sure of what descriptive words to use in their bio, I actually learned this from a copywriter. This is a really good exercise, is to create like an anonymous, you can either do this through SurveyMonkey or Typeform. You create just like an anonymous, like one like answer questionnaire, and you send it out to all of your friends, all of your family, and you say, hey, I'm really looking for a lot of help in, crafting some brand language around my personal brand. Please describe me in 3 to 4 adjectives. Like, this is anonymous. Let me know like 3 to 4 adjectives that describe me. I'd love to hear what those are. And see like if you can notice any themes. You might notice a lot of people are saying the same type of words over and over again. That's how people see you. Remember, if you are your brand, you need to be unapologetically you and learn how to really bring that up to the surface. I love that homework assignment. I've done it once or twice, and I feel like I should do it again. It's always just kind of good to see like what other words people use to describe you. Highly, highly recommend. So I think, let's see. Okay, so before we get into content, I'm going to share my screen, my phone screen. 1 second. Okay, can you see my phone screen?
Looks beautiful.
Thanks. Okay, so some Instagram bios that do a good job. Oh, I love her. Sorry. She's a travel blogger who's just so wonderful. Let's see. So since we talked about Jenna Kutcher, I'll bring her up. So beautiful. I love how she has everything written out in separate little lines. So it's easy to digest, easy to comprehend and understand who she is. She's the host of the Gold Digger podcast. That's a little straightforward, to the point. She's a Wisconsin and Hawaii photographer. So she's saying, she's being more specific of what type of photographer she is. I know she's a wedding photographer. It would be nice if she added that in there, but again, you're limited on space, so get creative. And then she's a body positive babe, which I love. Again, she stands for something. She knows exactly who she is and what she wants to talk about and the value she wants to bring her community. And then she's obsessed with marketing and mac and cheese. It used to say yoga pants, but she changed it to marketing. So, she's legit at marketing. So, and then keeping it real since 1988. So again, just kind of a fun little thing about her personality. Let's look at another one.
And 181,000 followers.
Oh yeah. And let's go back to her. So in her engagement is like through the roof. So like, yeah, over 2,000 likes. This one over 5,000 likes. Yeah, her stuff is great. Let's look at, let me see who else I wanted us to look at. Oh yeah, Liz Whiteco. Okay, so Liz White, she's an entrepreneur. All things strategies, mindset for epic biz and life success. Stress less, earn more, enjoy your biz, and live your life. Hashtag money making maven. So this is pretty good. It is a little general in terms of like all things strategies, mindset for epic biz and life success. But I really, really like her second line where it says stress less, earn more, enjoy your biz, and live your life. That's kind of like her why. But instead of saying more so of like why she's doing it, this is more of like why you should sign up for her program or the benefit you're going to be getting from her. Mm-hmm. And it kind of has a lot of emotion tied to it too. So really speaking to your audience and trying to get them to, whatever emotional response you want to get, whether it's to feel more inspired or feel like a more sense of ease in their business. Like that's what I get when I read hers, like stress less, earn more, enjoy your business and live your life. Oh, that sounds amazing. That mm-hmm. sounds like such a sigh of relief. Mm-hmm. So she does a really great job with that.
And why does she link Instagram right there? LizWhite.co/Instagram.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. It could be just a specific tracking link so she knows.
Oh, okay. Got it. So,
or, this is just a specific landing page she created for people from Instagram. So it's probably mobile optimized. It's just really simple, straight to the point. It's not like a full-blown website, which sometimes on mobile might be a little overwhelming. She's probably, again, she's getting people to work with her. She's like, hey, book a strategy session with me. Here's some freebies. She wants to build trust with them right away. So that's probably why she had it set up this way, which is this is a great strategy. I like it.
I see a lot of people doing Linktree. And so that's a link where it can post out multiple things. So that's her own version of that.
Exactly. Yeah. Linktree is really cool. I like that you can link out to multiple different things, your blog. Maybe you have like a page where people can book directly through you. Maybe you were featured in a podcast, or you have a podcast that you want people to see, which is great. It's great if you have a bunch of different things going on in your business. But if you are focusing on one thing, like say, for example, you want to launch a course, I would just, whatever it is you're trying to focus on, put the link to whatever that is in your bio, because the only thing about Linktree is you're giving people another extra step and then just more options to choose from. So a lot of times people might look at the options and go, oh, I'm not even sure what I even want to do. And you might lose them. And I actually noticed myself doing that when I click on someone's Linktree. I just want to learn more about them, and there's all these options. And I go, oh, I'll look at that later. And then later most likely doesn't happen. So just something to think about. You don't want to give your audience too many steps.
Got it. Yeah, because it is a little overwhelming if you go to a Linktree and there's multiple things to click.
Totally. Okay, cool. And then let's see if I want to show. Well, we'll do this one too. We'll do Jasmine Star. Oh wait, she just showed up. Hers isn't in like the nice bullet point format that I like. But hers is good to some extent. I do have some critiques. So she has business strategist, photographer, helping entrepreneurs grow social platforms. And then she has her email, and then get free stock photos and video tutorials. Business strategist and photographer, I think she could get more specific on. Those are pretty generic. Like, I would love to know, okay, what kind of businesses are you help strategizing? Are they e-commerce? Are they coaches? Are they consultants? I want to know if she specializes in anything. And then also, what kind of photographer is she? I actually know she started off as a wedding photographer, but now what is she, a social media content like photographer? Is she more of a personal branding photographer? I'm not quite sure. And typically in the world of photography, you do want to get very specific. So it is interesting that she didn't use descriptive language there. And then I do love, though, that helping entrepreneurs grow social platforms, that is great. That speaks to like what her why is, like why is she doing, what is her business's goal and their mission. And she's helping entrepreneurs grow on social media. So hers is pretty good, but just something to keep in mind of, really getting as descriptive as you can. Okay, so let's go back to.
She had a lot of followers, 222,000 followers.
She's great. It's funny. She started off as a photographer and then has just grown into this like social media maven. And she now teaches a lot of courses around social media, Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing. So she's kind of more just as like a marketer, but she still is a photographer. So she has a really unique, cool brand story. And yeah, she has grown so fast. I love seeing how much these accounts grow.
I love her opt-in, get free stock photos here, because as an entrepreneur, I always need stock photos. I do a lot of my own design on Canva, and I just paid like $65 for one photo. So that right there, I literally just followed her so I could get and take a look at her free stock photos because I'm curious. So
yeah,
that opt-in is killer.
Exactly. And then you probably gave your email to opt in, right?
I haven't yet, but I'll click it now. And then of course it'll probably ask for that. Yeah. Yes. Heck yes. Send me these photos. I mean, I don't even know what they are.
They're probably great. Her work is really, really good. But yeah, getting people to download something, like building their trust in some way is huge. Cause that's going to get people to come back, and to keep, enjoying your content. You're building trust with them, giving them, as many things that they could use for their business. And then she has your email address, which this is a whole other topic, but Julie, you already know this, but like collecting emails is probably one of the most important things anyone should ever do in their online business. I always say your email list is the backbone of your online business, because growing a huge social media following can be very beneficial and life-changing for your business, but you still don't own those social media followers. So use social media as a tool to gain trust and to gain exposure, but your ultimate goal should really be to collect emails and to remarket to them later through different email drip campaigns. And again, that's a whole nother discussion. But and then you could even go ahead.
These are the photos. So you get 5 free ones, and they're pretty cute.
They're cute. That's perfect for using some on your social media feeds or even on your website.
It's awesome. That's a great opt-in.
Yeah, I love that. But and then one last thing about email lists too is having an email list. With the advancement of Facebook advertising, you can use your email.
Sorry guys, pardon the small interruption here. Hope we can get her back. I just turned off my video to see if that would help. I'm gonna text her. Uh-oh, you're frozen. Oh, yay.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
No worries. Technology.
Okay. I don't know if you're able to.
Oh, that's fine. We'll totally continue. It was just like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
This recording's still going, but you were just in the middle of saying that with Facebook now you can do what with the email list?
Okay. Yeah. So now with the advancement of Facebook ads, which, if anyone's watching this and they're kind of just starting out in their business, don't let this overwhelm you. But as you grow in your business, you're eventually going to want to explore, Facebook ads and paid advertising. And if you have a strong email list, you can actually upload that into Facebook. I think you have to have at least 100 people on your email list. The more people you have, the more accurate. But you can upload them into Facebook, and then Facebook will create an audience to the size of up to like several million people that are just like those people on your email list, like the same purchasing behavior, same everything. It's kind of scary, but awesome as a marketer. So again, that just goes to show the power of email. But yeah, I digress on that. So
beautiful,
whole nother topic. But okay, let me go ahead and share my screen again. So okay, now we're going to go into content strategy. So we're going to talk about how to build trust and how to bring value to your audience. We're going to get into the fun stuff like color palette and visual branding, and then photo editing and photo planning, and then hashtag strategy. So social media is a trust tool. I think I've said that many, many times. Social media is usually like an entry channel. And when I say entry channel, that's usually like top of your funnel. It's usually the first time a lot of people are going to be exposed to you, the first time they're seeing you. They don't really know who you are yet or what value you bring. So you need to use social media as a way to build that trust. You want to find a way to make sure that that audience trusts you and continues to come back and really enjoy your content. And one thing I have to say about Instagram is, and the one thing that kind of bothers me is I hear a lot of people say, oh, Instagram is just a bunch of pretty pictures. And while high quality content is valuable, that's not all that Instagram is. It's not just a place for pretty pictures. It's not just a place for you to brag about what you're doing, what you're eating, like what restaurant you visited that day. And while some people do that, the accounts that I follow and that I see truly, truly grow and soar are bringing incredible value to their audience. They are serving their audience in some big way. And people are very selective on who they follow on Instagram. So make sure you're bringing really high value to them. And then plus, in order to really be successful on Instagram, you really ideally want to be posting at a regular schedule, eventually building up to posting every single day. So again, this just reinforces that you are doing something that is really important to you, something that you're tying a lot of emotion into your content, and something that's really authentic to you and feels so good for you. That's why it's so, so important to get very crystal clear on that what, and then that really powerful why, because that is what's going to help you stay motivated for you to continually and consistently publish content on a daily basis. Because if it doesn't feel right, and if you're trying to be like someone else, that's exhausting. Posting content every day, trying to be like someone else, and that's when burnout happens. And that has happened to me. I can speak to that truly. You don't know how many times where in the past I've seen other, popular bloggers and influencers, and I thought, oh, okay, if I could just, try to do exactly what they're doing, I could do it too. But it wasn't working. It's not me. And, there's that quote, no one is you and that is your superpower. Like really take note of that, especially on Instagram. Like this is your platform to really showcase who you are in a visual way. All right. So looking at some content examples, again, these are just some examples. I could probably go on like all day. Like I could probably provide a list of maybe over 100 different things you could do to bring value to your audience, but this is just to kind of to help you get started. So you can do guided meditations. This would be great for maybe doing on your Instagram stories. Or you can even like film yourself doing a guided meditation. If you are a nutritionist, you can do nutrition facts. You can do recipes. Someone who does that really well is Earthy Andy, who I featured on the right of this slide. I love her so, so much. I actually had the opportunity to work with her when I was doing marketing at Mama Chia. We hired her as one of our influencers. And the return on investment that we got from working with her was amazing. And it's because she built such an amazing audience that really trusted her. They trusted her. They knew that any recipe she was creating or any advice she was giving was true and authentic. And it was something that she really believed in. So she shares a lot of awesome recipe photos. She talks a lot about family and shows like a lot of beautiful photography of them like at the beach and on their hikes. And of course, like her food just looks so delicious and it looks so good. But she's also like pretty real about it too. Like she talks a lot about her journey into becoming a vegan and how difficult it was and how much backlash she received. And she is really, really great at motivating her community to, persevere and to try new things to live, their happiest, healthiest lives.
I follow her. She's just so lovable and her family is so lovable. And I think a good question to ask when you're sitting down is what's going to make people be able to see me enough to fall in love with me? Like, how can I actually be my most real, vulnerable expression? And what do I do so naturally well? Because I'm sure there was a time in her life where she didn't think it was that amazing that she was making smoothies for her family, and then now people get to watch them and she just does these really cool things with video and she really maximizes the platform. And it's just awesome to hear you guys had a great return from a brand collab with her.
Oh yeah. She was phenomenal. And and she's just so real and authentic and such a joy to like follow. And I love her so much. She's great. But where do we leave off? Oh yeah. So recipes, you could do inspirational quotes. This is a big one. I see a ton of people doing this, especially anyone who's in the self-help or, maybe they're a business strategist. Inspirational quotes could really apply to anyone, even if you're a fitness expert or, a trainer or, whatever it is. Inspirational quotes are huge, and those are pretty easy to put together. And I'll show you guys some tools that you can use to really put some quick quotes together, like literally within like 2 seconds. It's pretty amazing. You could do family, parenting, relationship advice. Maybe you're a coach that caters to new moms, and they just feel so frazzled and they need help with, parenting and balancing their business with their newborn child. And you could give advice on how to incorporate more spaciousness into your life. Maybe if you are more into like the natural holistic space, you could do like beauty or holistic like tutorials or how-tos. How-tos are huge. I follow a bunch of accounts just because they do a lot of how-tos. There's one specifically, Amber Fillerup. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she has a great story. She used to be like a hairstylist, and she just kind of started off as doing a bunch of hair tutorials, and they were amazing. She had these beautiful braids, and like she would show you exactly how to do these specific braids. And she has over 1 million followers now, and has her own line of hair extensions, has built such a phenomenal brand around her family. It's really, really amazing. So how-tos can be really, really powerful. You could do oracle readings, travel tips. If you are into travel, I like to incorporate travel into my brand. That's part of my personal brand. Business advice. And then again, getting real and sharing vulnerable moments about your life and your story. Without oversharing, just enough to get people to, feel connected to you and to feel relatable, is huge. That can help so much, help people really feel more attached to you and want to keep following you on your journey.
The message is get creative, folks, and do your own thing, because every single one of these women in some sense have trailblazed something. Nobody ever did it the way that Earthy Andy was doing it. And so get creative. This is where I like to spend time in contemplation and sit with it. And what part of a store or what actually activates you and turns you on, and be that expression on Instagram. And share about that, and be willing to try things in new ways that have never been done before. Like, oh, I wonder if I could put this together or share this, and always be testing to see which gets the greatest feedback. I'm sure that Jenna Kutcher shared one photo at some point and got a lot of great feedback on her body positivity, and now that's a huge part of her brand. She tested that at some point. It wasn't like she just came onto it like, I'm going to do lots of series of beach and bikini photos. It's a progression.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because I don't want to overwhelm anyone by saying, like, you need to have all this figured out before you start Instagram. Like, you'll figure this out as you go. And I love what you mentioned about testing. And I'm going to throw another quote in there that I heard from someone is, the best of the best always test. And you might think that you are going to produce something that is like going to resonate really well with your audience, and you might find out that it just doesn't. So again, just really utilize social media as a platform to get a lot of feedback. I mean, you're getting real-time feedback. I mean, there's nothing cooler than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, get creative, test different things out. Don't feel like you have to have a set strategy right away before you even start publishing. Like, just kind of get started, and it will slowly evolve over time.
Yeah, what we're looking at here are very mature platforms. So don't get turned off and be like, whoa, I could never recreate that. Slowly start, and then a few years from now, you'll have these mature platforms.
Exactly. And yeah, as you continue to use the platform, you'll only get better and better at creating content, and you'll become more efficient at it. And there's new tools being introduced every single week to help you like create this content even faster, to make it even more beautiful. There's so many amazing resources out there that you can tap in and utilize. So yeah, don't try to feel too overwhelmed in the process. Okay, so now on to the fun stuff, color. So if you already have like your logo and your website done, this process will probably be super easy for you. If you don't have any of those assets done for your brand, that is totally okay. Because Instagram is actually going to help you get really clear on this. Since Instagram kind of limits you to just 3 images per row, you're kind of forced to get really clear on how your brand aesthetic looks. So I actually have evolved my brand just through Instagram alone. What's crazy is I personally right now, I don't even have a website yet. I've never had a website yet. I've ran my entire business without a website. I've just used my Instagram. So don't feel like you need to have all those assets in place first for you to build a brand on Instagram, because you don't. And if anything, Instagram will help you get crystal clear on how your visual brand and what your brand identity is going to look like and what it's going to turn into. So looking at, okay, so yeah, generally speaking with color, and I'll get more granular here in just a sec, but so each color kind of affects each mood in a different way. Generally speaking, filters that increase warmth, exposure, which is brightness, and contrast, those will usually elicit feelings of arousal and excitement. There are so many different studies out there about color, and I encourage you to do some research on your own if this really fascinates you. And also, generally speaking, they've noticed through different studies that photos that do have more warmth, exposure, and contrast are typically favored. People engage with them more. Mm-hmm. And then looking at like more of like a neutral color palette usually elicits feelings of like something that's higher end, luxury, it's cool and relaxed. But something that I do have to note is color is all subjective. The psychology around color, just like art, is all subjective. So I am going to be providing some stats on different colors and how, they elicit different emotions. Please just keep in mind that this doesn't speak true to everyone. Every single person has a unique reaction to color. So again, take this with a grain of salt. These are just general stats that I'm going to be listing here in a second. But if you're unsure of what colors to utilize, and if you are your personal brand, I always recommend choose the colors that look best on you. Like, what colors do you look good in that you wear? If you're going to be the face of your brand, make those your colors, own those colors. Mm-hmm. But so here we'll look at, so again, this was a survey done, I think it was done about a year ago, on, the effects of different colors. So we'll look at looking at trust, blue elicited that color or that feeling the most, followed by white and then green. Some good examples of this. I mean, look at Facebook. Facebook is literally only blue and white. And they are trying so hard to gain trust from everyone, since I know if people feel a little weary about Facebook in the sense that, I don't know if I want to give all my information over to like this online, platform. A lot of big companies will use a lot of blue and a lot of white. And then again, security, blue was very up on top, followed by black and green. If you are trying to elicit feelings of more like energy and like speed, red is by far the overall winner. That's why you see a lot of fitness brands utilize this, a lot of fitness trainers. They use a lot of red.
And Lamborghinis are utilizing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lamborghinis. I think a lot of, when I look at like a lot of like CrossFit and like the marketing around that, it's like red and black and gray. And it's just like, a lot of red is used. Mm-hmm. Cheapness, which is kind of weird. I don't like using that word, but this is again what the survey said. Orange came first, followed by yellow and brown. But again, this is also subjective, guys, because later on you'll notice on the last one where for fun, orange was the top choice. And then going down below cheapness, high quality, black is a clear winner, followed by blue. So if you're trying to cater to, you know, a really, really high-end clientele, I would utilize a lot of black. You can see this across the board. Like any luxury brand is using a lot of black. Look on their site. It's just most likely black everywhere with some negative white space with very minimal use of color. Some brands that I'm thinking of are, I think like, on the slide before. So Annie Lawless, her feed looks a little more warm, which I guess that would actually be perfect because she's sexy. She has her own beauty brand. So she wants to elicit feelings of more arousal and excitement, but she uses a lot of black. And her new beauty brand that she launched is a very high end, I think it's a lipstick line. And I'm assuming she's going to be releasing other items as well, but it's all like natural, but higher end price pointed items. So she does a really good job at that. And then high tech, evenly split between black and blue, with black on top choice and then blue and gray as the second. And then reliability, again, very similar to trust. Blue is the top choice, followed by black. And then courage. Most people chose purple, followed by red, and then blue. And then fear, terror. I'm not sure who would want to use this for their marketing, but it might work for some. Red comes in first, followed by black. And then the last one, orange, being, fun, with orange being the top choice, followed by yellow and then purple. But I also I really want to mention again that color is really, really subjective, you guys. And another thing I often try to refer to, and if anyone who's watching this is familiar with the chakra system, but there's a lot of science around, you know, the different colors of each chakra and how those affect different centers in your body and the emotional response tied to those. So like some examples, like typically, so what the color of violet or purple is tied to the crown chakra, which is tied to a lot of knowledge and wisdom and spirituality. You see a lot of, you know, spiritual businesses using a lot of purple, which makes a lot of sense. But you can even play around with this too. So say you are some form of spiritual coach and you want to cater to just women. I would personally use colors like purple and pink, since pink is usually very soft and feminine and it appeals to a lot of women and it just speaks so highly of femininity. Those are the colors that I would recommend for you. And again, I don't mean to add too much confusion here, but something else to also keep in mind is to find a way to stand out. And if you ask any branding expert, they'll always recommend find what everyone else is doing and do it differently. So let's go back to that same example. Say you are a spirituality teacher or a coach of some kind. But say you want to focus on like love and relationships. A lot of people would probably use a lot of like pink and purple, like I mentioned before. But another thing to think about is, you know, the heart chakra is also associated with the color green. And a lot of people in that industry are probably not using green. So maybe find a way to incorporate green. Green elicits a lot of calmness. It would be, you know, a really great color to use in that sense. And again, you guys, I could go so deep with color here. And I just recommend doing a little bit more research around this yourselves to see, again, what colors resonate with you and finding a way to tie it into your personal brand. I mean, some other examples I could do, I could give you is Earthy Andy's kind of a good one. Let me go back to her really quick. So you don't see it as much right here, but she uses a lot of green because, I mean, her name is Earthy Andy. So she uses a lot of green and tans. She is incorporating earthy elements, earthy colors into her feed. And it just works so well for her because she's all about natural and holistic living and holistic lifestyle. And this is actually a bit different than what a lot of food bloggers are doing or we're doing. I feel a lot of them now are actually starting to kind of, I don't want to say copy, but like they're getting very inspired by her. And I'm seeing more and more food bloggers kind of take this approach. But before Earthy Andy came into play, and I used to do marketing in the food and beverage world. So I was very familiar with like almost every food blogger you could ever imagine. They were all using like white backgrounds and like very colorful, like high contrast, bright images of food. And they looked beautiful. But when Earthy Andy came into the picture, it was just so different. It was so refreshing to see like a lot of green and these earthy tones and like colors that might not have been as sexy when it comes to food, like green, but she turned it into her own brand. And it just is so, again, it's so beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
So
I also love going to Pinterest and just searching color palettes and just search color palette and just see what comes up. Green color palette, blue color palette. And also something to note, and something that I've worked a lot with my clients on when they're designing their book covers, something we run into a lot is like, okay, what would I design? So like, here's my first book in 2015, very girly, very me. I was the one that got the bright bubblegum pink can of paint in college and had all 4 walls pink. But that may not be what everybody wants. And so I've gone a lot more neutral and, like there's a contrast here and it's not so girly, although the pink element isn't there, but there's like the pink is the power. And so you can see like my branding has evolved. And so we have to like be in this fine line of what is going to attract my customer and what do I love. And if those things can be married in the color palette, you've really won.
Totally. I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love too that you brought up Pinterest. One thing that I encourage a lot of clients to do too is when they're feeling really stuck with Instagram branding, they're just not sure how they want their feed to look. I always tell them to make like a mood board on Pinterest. Like make a board, you can make it a private board and just start pinning. Like if you could have a dream Instagram feed, what would it look like? Just start pinning all the things that inspire you and then look at that board and try to like evaluate it. Like, does it feel right? What things can you remove that aren't making it look as cohesive as it should? Because making it cohesive and consistent is key, because consistency helps build trust. Again, I cannot mention enough how important it is to build trust. And because when people see your profile and they want to follow you, they're following you because they like your content and they expect more content like that. They expect consistency. So again, just a little tidbit there. Let me go forward. Okay. So now we're going to kind of get into photo editing and content creation. So this, again, can get a little overwhelming. So I'm trying to kind of concise it as much as I can here. Just a quick little thing I wanted to mention is scene gist. So, and this just brings to the point to not get too carried away or overwhelmed with the photo editing process. I think a lot of people feel like they need to know how to edit their photos a crazy amount, and they need to, do a lot of doctoring to their images. And you really, really don't need to, because people get the gist of a scene or an image with 80% accuracy in about 36 milliseconds, which is insane. People will know exactly what's in the image within 36 milliseconds. So they'll decide very, very quickly whether or not they want to engage with your content, whether or not they like that image. And then that is how you have to lock them in. Because once they see an image they like, then they'll read more in the caption, and then they'll read more of that story. So again, don't get too carried away on doing anything that's like way too artsy or over editing your photos. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with this piece. They feel like they have to just edit their photos so much or do all this crazy amount of artwork. And no, just keep them simple. Don't edit them too much. Maybe increase the brightness a little bit. You can sharpen them a bit. Maybe, if you want to increase the saturation, that's about it. Do not go crazy with it, guys. Otherwise you're going to create something that's unrecognizable, or just, that's just, not really easy for them to comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I wanted to mention here, so these two researchers, Monica Castellano and John Henderson, they found that the closer an image was to its natural color and appearance, the easier it was for people to get the gist of what they just saw. So again, that just goes to show, like, please do not edit your photos too much. You don't need to go crazy. And then also something that's important to when you're planning your feed is feed balance. And, and the best way I can kind of represent this is in the image to the right here. Again, Jenna Kutcher, I love her. She does such a good job. Once you figured out what kind of colors you want to incorporate into your feed, find a way to balance them out on your feed. So Jenna, she utilizes a lot of white, and then she does a lot of warm tones. Like she has like kind of like this really pretty sunset, burnt orange, red, and then maybe a little bit of like gold. And she's found a way to really find a good balance to where I think she's literally just doing every other photo is a photo that has a lot of white. It's either a background with a quote or a picture of her, wearing a white shirt on a white background. For the most part, it's white. And she's literally just alternating every other photo. And that's what I recommend anyone who's fairly new to Instagram, if they're not quite sure how to balance out their feed, I would just find a way to do something every other photo, because the human eye naturally is drawn to symmetry. They naturally like seeing balance and things symmetrical. And it's really easy if you just know, okay, every other photo, I'm going to make, it a little more whiter and brighter. And then the rest of my photos are going to be where I sprinkle in more of these colors that I'd like to add into my feed. That is honestly a true and tested strategy. And it's so much easier to implement than you think it is.
I love it. So it's not random that hers just ended up to be that symmetry. It's very thoughtful.
Oh, people plan out their feeds. And I highly recommend doing that. And it just honestly sets you up for success. If you dedicate like maybe just an hour of your time and go through and upload photos into some sort of feed planner, which I think my next slide actually shows some tools that I recommend for doing that. Then you have your feed plan and set. So then you just have to go in each day and post it. It makes it so much easier for you. I highly, highly recommend doing that. And then before I actually move on to that, I kind of want to show you some accounts that I think are doing a really, really good job with their content. So let me go back to my phone. Okay, so let me just make sure I have a list written out of ones I want to just show you guys. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at, and some of these are individuals, and then some of these are actual brands that sell products that I really admire. Okay, so the first one, this is not an individual, this is a brand. The Beach People. So the Beach People is an Australian brand. Those Australians, they're so trendy. They're all so good at marketing. So I love this brand. So they sell towels. They're actually, I think they might've been the first brand to come out with like the round beach towel that you now see just everywhere, all over Instagram. But they're really high end. I think a towel from them costs like $150. And so they're high end. So they have stuck to a neutral color palette. It is very, very neutral. They are rarely using color. And when it is very muted down. So they have done a phenomenal job of using a neutral color palette to elicit the feelings of high-end luxury. It's very cool and relaxing. It's like, I just want to live in those photos. It looks like a nice resort vacation that you just want to teleport to right away. They do an amazing, amazing job at this. Yeah, I absolutely love their feed.
To me, it just says, treat yourself, live in luxury. Your life should be as luxurious as this towel is. And it just kind of justifies this $150 towel.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. And they have grown so much, obviously 348,000 followers. Let's look at, okay. So this girl, she's so cute. dreaming out loud. Haley Marie. Okay, so she's an influencer. She creates content for a living and does brand partnerships. She travels the world. Pretty cool life. So she does such a great job of consistency. Like, it looks very vintage, and she's using a lot of orange, which earlier when I mentioned that a lot of people associated orange with like cheapness, but they also associated it with fun and adventure. And she utilizes a lot of orange really, really well, because that's her brand. She is fun. She's adventurous. She snowboards. She's traveling. She's just so adorable. And her whole vibe is like very vintage. And she's done an incredible job. And when I look at her content, it just elicits so many feelings of adventure and excitement, simply because of just the colors that she's using and the way she's editing her photos.
Mm-hmm. Really beautiful. Well done.
Yeah, she does a great job. All right, we've already looked at Jenna Kutcher, so maybe I'll skip just so we can go through some other ones. Lee from America. I absolutely adore Lee. She is a recipe developer. She focuses on self-care, holistic lifestyle, hormones. She is, for the most part, plant-based. And she uses a lot of like warm tones, but still like high contrast. So again, the like this to me elicits a lot of feelings of like vibrancy and like living like a very vibrant, healthy life. Like, especially here, very, very colorful pictures of her food. Very, very consistent in the way she's editing her photos. And while she might not map her feed out as perfectly as someone as Jenna Kutcher does, it still is, very well balanced in how, like the type of things that are in her photos. Like, she's using a lot of greens because she's a food blogger. And then a lot of like natural earthy tones. So again, kind of similar to that earthy Andy vibe, of her out in the desert, being happy and wild and free. Yeah, I think her feed is absolutely beautiful. And she's doing things a bit differently than most food bloggers. Again, how I mentioned before, how a lot of them are using a lot of white, white like flat lays, and where she isn't. She's using a lot of shadow, and it kind of has this like mysterious kind of vibe to it, which I love, because she talks about, the different chakras and crystals and like house care with different plants, and her content is really, really, really awesome. Okay, let's look at, let's do Tone It Up.
So 1.4 million. Wow.
Again, these girls are huge. But they are it's run by two girls. Katrina and Karen. Thank you. I forgot what their names were for a second. And they cater to women who are looking to improve their lives through fitness and health. And so they use a lot of pinks and like feminine colors, and peach and pink and like a little bit of white. And it's very soft yet feminine. Very bright. They do a beautiful, beautiful job.
It's so helpful to see all of these, because we can really take in which ones we like and which kind of ones we want to model too.
Exactly. Yeah, I always recommend finding like a few different profiles you like, and then kind of like writing down like, okay, what are the things I like about those profiles, and how can I find a way to marry them all together to create something unique?
I'm following so many good people now because of you. Just have my phone right here. Tone It Up. I like their stuff.
Let's see. Oh, this one's kind of a funky one. So Justina Blakely. Okay. Or Blakeney. Sorry, I said her name wrong. So she is a designer, I think interior designer and product designer, artist. And hers is, I love hers. Hers is just so bohemian, and it for me, elicits a lot of feelings of like excitement and curiosity, because she uses a lot of different mix of like different textures and colors. And it's very, again, bohemian and free spirited, and again, kind of uses more of that like shadowy, like mystical almost kind of feel. Yeah, I love it. And it's so unique. And to some people, it might feel a little loud, but for her, it works. I mean, she does such a good job of utilizing so many different textures and patterns. And this is hard to do. The fact that she's able to create a cohesive feed with so many different things going on is pretty tough to do. So she's a great example to just kind of admire and feel inspired by.
What does she have at the top there? The JB Home, Jungalow. What are those? Art.
Oh, so those are other accounts that she manages.
Oh.
So she is the designer, but she has her own line. I think it's Justina Blakeney Home, which is sold in Target now. And then the Jungalow, which here we can look at the Jungalow. It's actually kind of fun.
Could you click them right there?
You can't.
No.
You can't. So you have to like manually search. I know that's the only, I wish Instagram would change that. The only thing you can click in a bio is the link portion.
And who knows how much longer that will be there, because it wants them to leave, right?
Right. I know. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, this is her other account. They just feature different homes and properties that kind of have that same vibe, that bohemian, colorful, vibrant, different textures. And yeah, it's really, really fun. And then let's look at.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, she is like Instagram maven.
Yes. All social media maven.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. So Lauren Everts, founder of The Skinny Confidential. I'm sure most people who are watching this have probably, if not already following her, have at least heard of The Skinny Confidential. Just a massive, massive movement that she's created to kind of like unite women together. And kind of just showcase, all of the different products that she loves, and creating a community where women can feel free to share, things about them and the different products that they're using, and like why that they like certain products and certain things. And it's getting women to open up to each other. And she's done such a great job at starting this movement. She has her own Facebook group, which has a massive amount of people in it. That just encourages other women to share and to support each other and feel like they shouldn't have to hold anything back or hide anything when it comes to beauty, that we should be open and willing to talk about it with each other, to support each other. And so with her brand, again, she utilizes a lot of neutrals. She is more in like the high-end luxury bucket. She promotes really high-end luxury products. She wears Chanel, like she is luxury. She is high end, but she sprinkles in just the perfect amount of pink to make it so feminine. And it's very clear that she's appealing to women who appreciate high end luxury items. And a cool thing about Lauren is I was listening to a podcast interview with her. It was her and Jenna Kutcher, actually. And like right now she kind of talks about like she talks about a lot of different products. She talks about like fitness. She talks a lot about beauty products. I'd say for the most part it's beauty, but that's not what she started doing. She started laser focused in the fitness realm. She was like huge into fitness. And that laser focused strategy, again, going back to being very clear and staying laser focused in that specific niche, really, really, really helped her grow and propel her to where she is today. And it wasn't until, I want to say, it was years into her business that she then started introducing beauty. Yeah. And she was always passionate about beauty. She had mentioned, like, I've always loved beauty, but I knew I needed to stay focused if I wanted to grow. She's like, and then once I grew and got to the certain point that I needed to be in my business, I then started incorporating other things that I was passionate about and that I wanted to talk about but it made sense because I had already built a community who had fully trusted me. And then she slowly built that out over time as she grew. Mm-hmm. So going back to, again, defining that niche, don't feel like once you define that niche, it's game over. You can't talk about anything, because you can eventually. You just have to really stay laser focused at first. And then as you grow and build trust with your community, you can then start to introduce other components of your personal brand and other things that you're passionate about, into your overall brand.
Yeah. For Lauren, because we share a mutual best friend. Her one of her best friends, Elena, is one of my best friends. So we've been at different parties and going away things together. And what I got from her and her blog and kind of the bits that I saw was, for the luxurious modern woman that wants to eat out, that wants to party, that wants to wear a little white dress, but also really cares about her health and appearance, and wants to be unapologetically a 10 out of 10. So it's like people really look up to her as like a model of a new standard of beauty, and just being unapologetic about it,
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. She has done an incredible job.
Great, dear. Well, we're just coming in on an hour here. How many more slides we got?
Let's see. I think we just have a few.
Okay.
Probably like 2 or probably like 3.
Okay.
So let's see. Let me go back to my slides. Okay. So these are some recommended tools. I highly recommend jotting some of these down. Mm-hmm. For photo editing, I'm a huge fan of VSCO. Absolutely love VSCO. I'd be happy to give a tutorial on that, but I know we're tight on time. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet of how to use it, and it's fairly easy to use. What's great about VSCO is they have a ton of different filters that are all really, really great, high quality, and you can easily apply the same filter to multiple photos at once, which makes photo editing a breeze. So if you want that consistent look, VSCO is a great way to do that.
And that's on your iPhone or mobile?
You can do that all from your iPhone. Mm-hmm. And then there's Afterlight, which is another good photo editing tool that can get into a little bit more detail in terms of not just the filters, but how much you want to sharpen the photo and adjust. I would still recommend VSCO, but I like to list that just in case as another option. And then for my desktop users, there's Lightroom, which is a little bit more of an advanced tool. If you are a photographer and you like to be shooting in RAW, you are probably familiar with Lightroom. This is the tool that all photographers use. I've been doing Instagram marketing for a long time, and I literally just started introducing Lightroom. So again, Lightroom is more of an advanced tool. Not necessary, but something to keep in mind. It's offered through Adobe. I think you pay like $15 a month to use it. But it is a pretty powerful tool, and I'm a huge fan, but not necessary for you to even do right now if you're just getting started with your Instagram. If you want to create quotes, like quote graphics, some apps that I strongly recommend, number one, absolutely being WordSwag. WordSwag is so good. You can create a graphic literally within 2 seconds. Beautiful templates. It just makes your photos look so beautiful. You can even create ones in the format for Instagram stories now if you want to do some quotes on your stories. And then there's some other that I listed on there, like Over, Spark Post, Canva, and then a new one that just came out is called a Design Kit, which is a little bit more fun, funky, colorful, if that's what your brand aesthetic is going to be. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to create animated text over photo to create more of a video, Legend, Spark Post, and Pocket Video are all really great. Legend is probably the easiest one to use. It's a little more limiting. Spark Post is great. That's actually produced by Adobe, the same company who produces the Lightroom tool, but it's for your mobile phone. They make it really easy to create some animated images. And then Pocket Video is another one I like to use, simply because you can pull music from iTunes, like iTunes previews, and use those in your videos to make them a little more fun and upbeat. And then when it comes to planning out your feed and scheduling, I absolutely love Planoly. What I love about Planoly is that it comes with desktop and mobile. So if you want, you can plan out everything on your computer if you're more efficient that way. And then when it's time to post, you get a notification on your phone. Then you go ahead and post, and it's super easy. Same thing goes with Later. Later is probably best if you're like a larger brand, like an e-commerce company. That's what I use for my e-commerce clients. But if you're an individual, Planoly is the way to go. And then there's Unum or Unum. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but that's mobile only. If you prefer to do everything on your phone, which I used to be that way. Some people are, since Instagram is mostly on the phone, they like to do everything on their phone so they get a better sense of just how it looks within Instagram itself. Unum is a really, really great tool to plan and map out your feed, and you can also schedule from there as well.
Cool. Super helpful.
Yeah. And then again, I already mentioned this before, but whatever you choose to do, however you want to lay out your feed, just be consistent. So color helps people recognize your brand by up to 80%. So whatever you do, make sure you stick with it. Again, don't feel like you have to do this. Don't feel like you have to have your colors set right away, because as your brand grows, it will evolve. But at least when you're starting out, do try to be consistent and test out like one color palette. And if that's not resonating for you, then you can try switching another one. But when you are testing, try to be consistent with that for a little bit of time to get a good sense of how the feed looks and how people are resonating with your content and how they're engaging with it. Okay, and then hashtags. So hashtags are so important to use, especially if you're just starting out. You get up to 30 hashtags per post, and I recommend using all 30 if you can. It doesn't hurt to use more. I know some people will kind of fight. I have some clients who will fight back on this. Who will say, using 30 hashtags might look desperate. But to be honest, it's the name of the game. And if you want to grow on Instagram, you need to use hashtags, and you should utilize as many as you can. Hashtags are just another opportunity for you to get discovered and for more people to find your profile. So when you're selecting your hashtags, it's really, really important to use ones that are popular, but not oversaturated. And I'm going to just show you guys a really quick example of that. Really, really quick. So I'm on my phone. So say I'll do travel just because that's kind of the niche that I'm in. So say I wanted to use travel in my posts. So travel right here has 258 million tags. That's a lot. That's a lot of tags. And some people might think, oh my gosh, it has, a bunch of tags, so I should use it. It's popular. But when you're using ones that are oversaturated, your chances of discoverability only get like slimmer and slimmer. So I'm going to show you guys an example of this. So see this top image right here, right? That one. Mm-hmm. So I've been on this page probably for not even a minute, but I'm going to refresh this really quick. Okay. So let's try to find that image again.
Most recent, right? Whoa.
Yeah. I don't even see it.
Oh my gosh. So just in seconds. No.
Oh, there it is. But I mean, not even 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So it's really, really important to find ones that are more in like the mid-tier range. So if I was into travel, I would probably look at Travel Blogger instead. Okay, that's 16 million. It's still a lot, but chances of getting discovered are probably a bit higher. Mm-hmm. And the chances of being featured in this top post section could be a bit higher as well. When you're featured in the top post section, you have the chance to get discovered even more because that content lives up there for a bit longer in time. Mm-hmm. And it's just also important to really do your research on hashtags. There's a lot of tools out there that will tell you to we'll help you find your hashtags or look up best hashtags online. And I've honestly tried every single one of them. A lot of people feel like they have to use an external tool to find hashtags, but honestly, the best solution that I've ever done is, I hate to say it, like doing it the manual way and like just sitting down, looking through my phone, looking through hashtags, because you also want to make sure that the content is very similar to what you're going to be like publishing and that it's high quality. You don't want like to publish, you don't want to use one of your tags in a feed that's going to be like full of junk. Like I remember, I think I used one that was, oh gosh, I can't remember what it was. Like here, this one might be like travel bag. Some people might use it thinking, oh, I might find a lot of travelers, but like, that's actually, it's not too bad, but a lot of it's kind of random. Like there's a cake here. I don't know, like that has nothing to do with the travel bag. Like this one isn't as good of an example, but you'll see there's some in there that are just full of junk and you don't, it's just a waste of time. There's like very little chance that people will even be following that hashtag.
So backing up just a second, because I don't do this, but I know that a lot of people do. And a lot of people in the younger generation are searching hashtags. And I have friends that sit on their phone before going to bed and they're just scrolling through and discovering new things to follow. And I don't do that on Instagram, so it doesn't come naturally to me, but people are doing that and they're looking for a particular thing. And so hashtag travelers, they may see that on another post and be like, what else is there? You know, my friend has a Siamese cat, so she'll always click the other hashtags for Siamese cats and just look like at what the cats are that day. So
totally.
the hashtagging is important because that's what people are searching for. This is like the search method inside of Instagram.
Totally. And Instagram actually released a new feature where you can follow hashtags. So I'll just click into one travel. Again, this is a very like general one, but see at the top button, follow, if I hit it, now I'm following that hashtag. So
my gosh.
People can now follow hashtags. So then in my feed, it will show me like maybe some top images from this travel hashtag feed directly into my feed, into the feed that I scroll through on a daily basis.
And you guys, there's a tipping point. So like Earthy Andy didn't build all of that organically. So she's been featured as these top posts. She's been showing up everywhere. If you go, can you show them what it looks like to go to Discover to like find these things and just kind of search that? So she was like at the top of the Discover and I just like randomly happened to find her because basically to Instagram, they want people on their platform. They really want to give high quality content. And so they have an influencer that consistently gives and retains her following. And so they want to feature her at the top and say like, look what we have on Instagram.
Totally. That is, 100% true. And then to go back to the hashtag following feature, since that's a fairly new feature, and Julie, you know this, since Instagram is owned by Facebook, Facebook prefers and really wants people to use new features. So if there's a new feature that's released, start using it. Follow hashtags that resonate with you. Start using any new functionality that Instagram releases, because now Instagram is owned by Facebook. So Instagram will favor accounts that are using all of the new stuff, taking advantage of everything that's new that's being rolled out. Instagram will favor those accounts. And I saw that happen with Instagram stories. When Instagram stories first came out, I was really hesitant because I was like scared to put my face, on the stories and start talking. And I saw people doing it right away. And I kid you not, those accounts started growing so fast. It was weird. And I feel like I lost out on my opportunity. I thought, oh my gosh, I should have started right away. So just something really important to keep in mind. If you see a new feature being released, start using it. Even if you feel like, oh, it's not going to be perfect. What if I don't use it right? Just do it. Just test it out. Start using it. Do whatever you can to jump on that bandwagon as soon as you can.
Yeah. I remember a year ago on Facebook Lives, I'd hop on and do like a Facebook Live by the pool and I'd get over 1,000 views.
Wow.
So that's 20% of my following watching at some point of my video. And so just high priority in the algorithm. And so it's lessened. I've noticed it dropped a lot just by organic reach, but that's very true. It's like, be willing to learn it, right? I did a Facebook Live with a client the other day. She's like, Jolie, you're so good at the techie stuff, because we did a split screen Facebook Live where I invited her phone to phone. And I'm like, I'm not really that great at it. I'm just willing to learn it. I have a willingness to be at the cutting edge of things. And I'm not, it's a lot to always have to be at that cutting edge, but it's part of the game. And so we get to have fun with it. I remember like sitting down for the first time and scrolling on Facebook and like taking it to the right like this, and there's the stories. And being like, okay, here we go. And I just had a willingness. I wasn't judging it. I had a willingness,
Exactly. That's such a good mindset to have, like to not be judgmental, but just be willing and so excited to dive deep and explore and just see what this new functionality is about. Because Facebook likes when people use their new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have like 2 more quick slides to show you guys. So looking at strategic partnerships, I just want to touch on this quickly, but it is so, so important. Like, again, don't feel overwhelmed by this whole process. Like, you don't have to do this alone. Mm-hmm. So really ask yourself, like, what are other communities and what are some other accounts that my customers and my clients like might already be, or they might like resonate with, and make a list of people to reach out to. So maybe it's people in other complementary industries. So maybe you are a health coach. So maybe you research some nutritionists that you could partner with. So find people to cross promote with. And don't think about like making it complex or anything. Just reach out to them and say, hey, I've been following you for a while. I really, really love your content. I think it'd be really, really fun to collaborate on something together. I think my followers would really love to see some of the stuff you're doing. How about we exchange shout outs? Like, I'll post one of your pictures on my feed and then you post one of my photos on your feed. Maybe we both do it on the same day. Or I'm seeing a lot of people do this now in Instagram stories. They'll just take a screenshot of the other person's feed and say, oh, I love this person's feed. Go follow her. I'm feeling so inspired by her. And like you both do it for each other. You could even host giveaways together. Maybe both of you guys are sponsored by the same or sponsored by a company, or maybe you each go in on a cool prize. You say, hey, let's each spend $50 on like a free ticket to this conference or whatever it is that you want to give away, and host a giveaway. And I'm sure everyone has seen the standard Instagram giveaway where it's like, hey, follow each page, like this photo, and comment below and tag a friend. You can get really, really creative here with the giveaways, but don't try to make it too complex. Just something really simple of like, follow, like, and comment, tag a friend. Those always work pretty well. And it's a good way to grow your following. And then the last thing you can do is to start an engagement pod. The only thing is just to be careful with that, because it is technically against Instagram guidelines to do it. But people are doing it all the time. I'm a member of like 2 to 3 different engagement pods. And how those work is someone has to be willing enough to put it together, to find a group of like-minded women or people who are probably in like a similar niche. And you kind of start a group chat in Instagram, or maybe it's just through text, however you want to structure it. And you all make a commitment to each other. You commit, you say, okay, we are all going to support each other. Whenever any of us post, we will all like, we're all going to comment, and we're all going to save that post, because saving now is a new form of engagement. And again, Instagram favors new tools, so try to use anything that's new. And I've been testing around with those, and they work really, really well. And it's just a really fun way to build stronger relationships with other influential people on the platform. So yeah, really utilize your network. If you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Really, really utilize the community on Instagram and cross promote as much as you can. That's going to help you grow so much faster. And then the last point I have to make is the importance of engagement. Instagram is not a tool that you can just put on autopilot and expect it to grow. It's not a tool that you can just post and then walk away from and then, only look at it again to post again. You need to engage. You need to commit some time to engage on the platform. Engaging is one of the best and the fastest ways to help you grow your account. So, find people within the communities or the niches that you're trying to reach. and engage with them. Go through their feed. There's a technique that a lot of people talk about. It's called the 5-3-1 technique. And it does take some time, but it works. Where if you go on someone's page who you think, okay, they're in my niche. Like, I think they would really like my content. They just haven't discovered me yet. So I'm going to engage with them for a little bit. So you go through and you like 5 of their photos. Then you comment on 3, like, oh my gosh, I love, say something genuine, not like nice pic, but say, wow, I love this photo, or wow, I love how vulnerable you're being here, or thank you for sharing this story. And then, once you like 5 photos and comment on 3, they say it's likely that you'll get a follow out of them. So again, it might seem like a lot of work, but if you just dedicate maybe like an hour a week for engagement and just sit there and like engage as much as you can, it's like, it's going to do so well for you. Like you'll see how well it works. And if this is, again, something that you just don't really want to do, or it's too much work, like this would be a great thing to outsource. Like you could also have like a virtual assistant help you with this. You could, work with an assistant to where you say, okay, like I want you to go through and help me engage with a lot of people. I don't want to say these kind of things, like, make sure you're clear with them on what they can say on your behalf. But that could be a great thing to kind of help take something off of your plate and outsource, because it's fairly easy. It just can take some time, but I cannot stress the importance of engagement enough, because again, Instagram also sees that you're active on the platform, and they like people who are active. They favor people who are active, who are using new tools and new functionality, and who are regularly posting. Instagram loves that. So.
Whoa, Miranda, this was so comprehensive.
Yay, I'm glad. Yeah, I know we didn't get to dive deep into, some like photo editing, stuff like that, but I hope that, you and everyone else is able to learn a few things, at least to get started. And, if you or anyone else has any questions, I listed my email there on the slide. Feel free to reach out. I do provide one-on-one consultations, and I might be releasing a group program, so we'll see.
Awesome, dear. This is great. Just a couple of my takeaways from the beginning, like how important it is to have good, concise copy. And so for anybody who's feeling like, gosh, how do I really nail it in a couple lines? Just do that exercise of doing some text threads, having your friends describe you in 3 to 4 sentences, and just practice. It's like an evolution. You can always hire a copywriter. And then the second thing is come to your team with your brand thought out. So even if you plan to hire this out, and even at the end of this training, you're like, all right, Miranda, Jolie, that was beautiful, but that's not something I'm going to do. Like as the owner and visionary of your company, you have to have the vision. So make time for the vision. Even if you're going to hire a designer, even if you're going to completely outsource this, it has to be coming from you. So spend time with it. Like none of this stuff can be skipped. So come to a team with your brand well thought out, some accounts that you really love, some Pinterest color palettes and things like that. Keep the theme consistent. Like you said, it wasn't random that she had like a ratio that was appealing to the eye, so sequences. And then take advantage of these tools. You guys, I'm really excited to try Planoly and VSEO. I use Canva for everything right now. And
Canva's great.
I didn't even know there was a feed planner, but I have such great old photography. Like I have vaults of Dropbox folders of photography and so many things and cool traveling pictures. And so this is really inspiring me to get all that photography together. And because I've really the only time I was using Instagram was when I wanted one of their filters. So that was like the only time, and then I would just share it to Facebook. And so I'm going to, this year be putting a lot more intention into growing it and building it and connecting with people there, because that's where people are. And there's so many people that I meet. Like the other day I'm at a yoga studio. I'm like, you're amazing. Let's connect. What's your Facebook? I'm not on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And so there are people that aren't on Facebook. And so how do we cast the widest net to our audience? It's being willing to be on all platforms. So I hope that this was informative. This is a long masterclass, and if you had to take it in chunks, that's okay. But now you can see the vision. Now you can see the total comprehensive package of what is available to you. And so, Miranda, I cannot thank you enough for giving this so much energy and giving so much time to this. And just really, really appreciate how detailed you broke it down, and you really know your stuff. And so anybody that gets to work with you is super blessed. I've seen what you've done for results for clients, and you're just a rock star, and you care so much, and you get it at such a deep, intuitive level.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy this helped. And yeah, looking forward to see how everyone's Instagram profiles grow. And I can't wait to see yours with all your new travel tips.
I know. I'm excited, dear. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye.